Demand for electric vehicles rise slowly in Mauritius as a few models come on the market, while hybrid and rechargeable cars gain popularity. In this edition, we see how a family business transformed itself to become one of the top Mauritian brands. We visit Mail and meet Mrs. Indrania Manina, with whom everything started. And China's tariff rise on American goods comes into force as retaliation to US policy on tariffs.
Electric cars are coming, slowly but surely. Not yet there to replace conventional fossil fuels propelled cars, but some countries have taken some measures to ensure the emergence of a high demand for electric cars. In April this year, electric cars accounted for more than half of new cars in Norway. Nordic countries are taking the lead, where their share for electric cars amount to 40%. Norway has set a very ambitious goal. All new cars in the country should be zero emission by 2025. In Mauritius, the trend of electric cars is slow, amounting to just over 100. But more popular are hybrid or rechargeable cars, a technology between fossil fuel and electric. To date, more than 11,000 cars are hybrid or rechargeable.
This is the Toyota Prius. It's a hybrid vehicle. What do you mean by that? That it has a different engine which uses less petrol, and then it has also a different kind of battery. Why we're talking about that today is that there is a trend in the world moving towards hybrid vehicles and also electric vehicles. What's the situation today in Mauritius? Let's drive in this car and see where the people who are dealing with those vehicles lead us. So, what you can see here, it's totally amazing. It's a normal vehicle, but what's inside the vehicles makes the whole difference. And we're going to talk with people to see how it is making a difference in the consumption of petrol, and also when we're talking about renewable energies, clean energies, where Mauritius is going regarding vehicles today. Sachin Sukna, we've been talking about electric vehicles, hybrid vehicles, and in the world we've seen this international trend moving towards electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles. What's the trend in Mauritius here? What do you see in the showrooms?
For example, I will take the Prius C, which is a hybrid car with a 1.5 liter engine. So basically we can see the trend that is increasing in Mauritius. We see more and more hybrid vehicles, and even we can start seeing electric cars being sold now. I believe this is the future. For example, I will take second-hand imported cars. The two best-selling second-hand imported cars are hybrid models. One being Toyota and the other being a competitor model. So we can see that the cost associated with hybrid cars, the cost savings, the maintenance savings, and eventually you can run for a longer period of time in between service intervals with a hybrid car. So basically this is a definite advantage in terms of fuel consumption, maintenance costs, and eventually peace of mind, because at Toyota we have all the required technicians, required technology and training skills in order to cater for these types of cars.
Now, compared to the 5 years and today where we stand for electric vehicles, how do you see the future?
So the trend on the market is definitely increasing for both, whether it's purely petrol or diesel cars and hybrid cars. But it's nice to see that the market in general is starting to accept. We used to have a sense of insecurity, I would say, around hybrid technology because of the costs that involve around the battery life, the cost of the battery itself. But with time, we've seen that the market has adopted this technology. We have little to no recalls in Mauritius about hybrid batteries, hybrid technology, or the engine itself. So it is with confidence that we can say that the market is adopting now, it's growing, and it's going to grow ever more.
People also often complain that there's no proper infrastructure for the maintenance and servicing of such vehicles in Mauritius. What do you have to say to that?
Definitely, the electric segment is, let's say, still an infant in Mauritius. We can see a majority of electric cars being high capacity vehicles, such as engines above 2 liters, up to 3 liters. And this is where electric components really come in handy. But I believe that in the future, with the adoption and grants and more accessibility for solar panels, people will be able to more easily charge their electric cars at home. And it is true that we have only a few electric charging stations in Mauritius, but lots of hotels, RES, IRS for example, are providing those services. So it's a trend that is starting, and I believe everyone will have to follow it at some point in time.
However, the main hindrance to move to electric cars is the price. New technologies are surely more expensive.
Olivier Ferrière, in the showroom, when people come here to buy cars, especially electric or rechargeable cars, what sort of questions do they ask about this new kind of cars?
Actually, there are very frequently asked questions. For example, the autonomy is a very frequently asked question. It's a fear for Mauritians because they don't know the technology. But to be honest, all the cars we have here, rechargeable, have a very long range. The Zoe, for example, which is 100% electric, has a 300-kilometer range. And to put it in context, Mauritians go approximately for 60 kilometers a day maximum. For the first Zoe we sold, the guy came after 1 week and he didn't recharge the car for 1 week. So it's really not a problem if you drive safely and in the right way. There's also a big question that comes every time, is the battery. But the battery has a lifetime of 10 years, so it's also not a problem. But these are fears coming with technology, it's normal. And yeah, there are a few questions like that. Maybe for the Zoe specifically, which is 100% electric. They also ask for the charging, because there's not a lot of in Mauritius, there's not a lot of point to charge the cars. So we usually tell them that you can charge it at home on a normal electric system, and there's no worry about it either.
You've seen electric cars, rechargeable cars, and now when the builder are moving towards this segment of new cars, new technology, how do you see the market react here in Mauritius?
The market is for non-rechargeable vehicles is very low, and this is the big problem in Mauritius, that people don't buy non-rechargeable electrical cars.
So what do you think must be done to encourage people to buy electric cars with this cleaner fuel?
It's communication, it's having the right prices for the cars. The government have already done some very good things for the tax-free electrical cars, but there's still some work to do, especially for the charging points. There must be more charging points to reassure the population in Mauritius, I think.
The Renault Zoe, which is an electric car, gives the driver a mileage of 400 kilometers after a charging period of 6 hours. Yes, charging the battery is another issue, but some car dealers have their solution.
Alexandre Edouard, we're here at the Lille showroom. We've just seen this massive Mitsubishi Outlander, and it is being run like a rechargeable car. And what have you seen regarding this trend over the last years in here?
Oh, since the last 5 years, it's been increasing quite much. I think that people are getting more conscious about the environment and are trying to move towards those electric cars. We've seen an increase in the number of cars produced by the manufacturers also. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely an increase in the trend. So basically the electric cars that we have here are rechargeable cars. You have to plug your car at home just like you're charging your phone. You plug it overnight, the car will recharge, and on the Mitsubishi Outlander you have up to 50 kilometers of electric driving.
What does that mean, 50 kilometers?
So 50 kilometers electric driving is that you don't use at all your petrol engine. you are driving purely electric with electric motors powered by the lithium-ion batteries.
Now you said you can charge the battery at home, and how many minutes or how many hours does that take?
So you have different types of charging. So for a home charging, we are talking about 3.5 to 8 hours of charge for a full range of 50 kilometers.
Now talking about the performance of the vehicles here, electric or rechargeable, what is the performance they give?
We are like a normal car, except for the range of 50 kilometers, but we can drive up to speeds of 120 kilometers per hour. And the real advantage of those cars is when you're driving in the city, where usually petrol engines consume a lot of fuel and pollute a lot. So those cars, you have zero emission, and it's very eco-friendly and very cost efficient.
Now we've seen that okay, electric cars are coming now, and where do you think this influence comes from? How people are reacting to what is being brought on the market here?
We can see that the trend is more and more increasing, as we've talked earlier. A lot of these trends come from the influence that you have in Europe, as you said. Paris is going to have only electric cars in 2025, same thing for Germany. So this influence that we have from the European market is considerably increasing the trend that we have in Mauritius. We are in the automobile industry. We like those petrol engines, we like the sound of petrol engines, but if we want to be able to drive those cars in 10 years, 20 years, 25 years, we have to make the move to those electric cars, okay? Because our natural resources are disappearing. The environment is suffering from that. And to be able to preserve that environment, we have to move towards electric cars. And manufacturers are making the vehicles cheaper to buy, so there will definitely be a shift from the normal combustion engines to the electric engines.
Maintenance of electric and rechargeable cars is another source of worry. As the technology is quite new, not many people are quite aware of the needs of the vehicles.
Girish Rital, compared to the Outlander, we've seen the Zoe, which you say has the autonomy of 300 kilometers. Why is that so? What makes it different?
Normally, for having the longer range, Renault have increased its battery capacity up to 300 kilometers for one full charge.
What does that mean exactly for us?
So what does that mean is for one full charge, let's say for the whole night. So for the next day you will have a range of 300 kilometers for a full drive for one day. Normally if we see no one will drive for 300 kilometers per day, let's say it's 60 kilometers. So the advantage here we already have around 240 kilometers left for the whole week.
Now we've seen the charging being done with a kind of wire put in the car and in a box. Where does that come from? Do we have that at home? Can we have that?
Yes, normally when you buy that the vehicle, I mean the Renault Zoe, the whole box comes with this vehicle. So the customer don't have to worry about the charging, how to charge and where to charge.
Now there's another question people ask, I think. You need to charge your car from 8 to 12 hours. Is there anything where you can charge it in less time?
Yes, let's say we do have two charging stations, which is one in Tamara and one in Pito, which have a quick charge. But let's say for the Zoe with 300 kilometers range, if you have a full charge, it's not necessary for you to charge it again for the next day. It's simple.
Now for the maintenance, let's see, compared to a traditional car, petrol car, and an electric car, what's the difference when you come on the service here, on the servicing date?
For the service, the electric car costs you less. As if we go technically, let's say for the petrol engine you have air filters, oil filters to renew. But comparing to the electric vehicle, you don't have any such during the maintenance. It less cost.
And now, the batteries, how do you service them? What happens after their lifetime? What do you do with that?
The battery, normally we don't service it like often unless there's technical issues on that. The lifetime for the Renault Zoe battery is 10 years. Even though if after 10 years we are facing issues, we are here to guide our customer and give them the better service in the after sales.
If Nordic countries have taken the lead in bringing electric cars on the market, it's mainly because of some fiscal measures to encourage purchase of those vehicles. Electric vehicles are gaining popularity even in China, where the market is expected to grow by 27% this year, helped again by incentives to encourage sales of EVs. The MVDA believes that more could be done to boost electric vehicle sales in Mauritius.
Mr. Amrinal Tilak, so we've seen this trend in the world. The builders, the car builders, are moving now to expand their production of electric cars and rechargeable cars. What's the situation here in Mauritius towards the market of those types of vehicles? Now, recently we've seen that Europe, especially European countries, have said they are moving to completely electric vehicles. Like Paris said, 2025, completely electric vehicles. Germany have started, the Nordic countries have started, Scandinavian countries have started that. Now, how do you see it coming in Mauritius? How much time will it see to have the same trend in Mauritius?
Well, it will come, but in Mauritius, for the moment, the only drawback for electric vehicles is the price. A petrol counterpart of one vehicle is probably less than half of what an electric car would cost. And to go into that direction of encouraging public vehicles, it demands a lot of effort from the importers, from government, all alike, and from our service provider, the CEB. It's no use having electric vehicles which don't pollute, but you're charging it from a dirty grid. So this is one aspect which the CEB needs to be looked at, so that our grid is cleaner, so that it doesn't defeat the purpose of having an electric vehicle. So these are problems that have to be solved. They're not answerable, they can be solved with the right amount of determination. These will be overcome.
Did you see there's a real demand for such cars in Mauritius?
Well, it has to come. I think there will be a demand when people realize that they don't have to pay so much for a full petrol tank, which costs a lot of money compared to something that would probably be free. And we don't have to depend on oil prices for the economy. It will stabilize a lot of things. But that will take some time. I don't want to set a date, because it depends on the purchasing power of our consumers as well. This is the main point.
So here we are. We've seen hybrid vehicles and electric vehicles, the situation here in Mauritius, following the trend worldwide. Well, when you buy, think also about the clean energies and renewable energies. Let's see what people do in the coming years.
No end seems to be in sight for the bitter trade spat between the US and China as Beijing's retaliatory tariffs on US goods kick in. China now plans to create a blacklist of unreliable foreign funds. The move is seen as a response to the US government's recent decision to blacklist Chinese tech giant Huawei, denying it access to domestic markets and restricting US sales to the company, though a 90-day reprieve was issued. Huawei has been hit hard by the decision, with a number of American firms saying they would cut off business ties with the Chinese company.
Imagine your life without colors. And now imagine your food without spices. You can't, right? This is why we're talking about spices today at the Mail industry. Look at this. These are the spices produced by Mail. Here, they started this business in 1987. It's a family business still running with employing more than 100 people. And today we're going to see where they get their raw materials from, how they process it, and how those spices reach your table.
Mail, which means peacock in Tamil language, is a brand name of spices made in Mauritius from the finest ingredients from across the world. Headquartered in Dagoutier on the central plateau of the island, this family business was founded in 1987 by J. Moutien. But the history of spices in Mauritius dates back to the 17th century, when the Dutch had a monopoly on trade of spices. They brought some spices to Mauritius during early settlement. But then, the French, under Maille de la Bourdonnais and Pierre Poivre in the 18th century, brought most of the ingredients, and also Indian spices came along with the first Indian artisans from South India. But during the British rule, the Indian cuisine influence gained Mauritius as indentured labourers came in large numbers from India. They brought with them their cooking habits and a wide array of spices. The same way, Mail spices has a story. It all started with Indrani Amma Naina, who used to grind masala. She is the mother-in-law of J. Moutien, founder of Mail, and grandmother of the current CEO of the enterprise, Krishna Moutien. Amma's curry was famous, and she was a reference among relatives and neighbors for her masala.
Today, we are at the factory plant of Mail, where many spices are prepared, but according to the directors, everything started from you. Please share how everything started.
In the family, everyone used to come to see me for the preparation of the masala. I used to go to buy, roast, grind everything, and then I gave them. On top, previously masalas were grinded by hand. At the time, my son-in-law asked me the secret behind this. As everyone liked the masalas I prepared, he came up with the idea to try selling it. Thus, we started by preparing 10 pounds of masala. I prepared everything, sealed it into packets, which my son-in-law sold to his colleagues. I must say, the masalas earlier were roasted in a small pan under a tree, and from 20 pounds we prepared 50 pounds until we transited to where we are today. My son-in-law was looking after the business, and now even the grandchildren help in.
So you said people used to come to see you for the masala, but we are sure you learned it from someone. What's the secret behind?
My mom. She's the one who taught me about the quantity of coriander, pepper, turmeric, and other ingredients to be used in the preparation. Thus, I inherited that know-how from her, and from that I continued my journey.
Did you thought that your spices will gain so much success one day?
No, I never had an idea this would ever happen. I used to do it for the family only, and even my sisters used to come to see me for that. So here we are now. A mere trial landed us where we are today.
What is the difference between the spices we used to prepare a long time ago?
We have better quality of ingredients now, and the masala tastes better as well.
The 32-year-old enterprise can boast to be among the top local brands of Mauritius. It employs more than 100 persons. Mail is undergoing a rebranding process. It's the policy of the company's management to constantly embrace innovation and provide high-quality products on the market. Here, standards are very important, especially regarding hygiene and food security norms. When the ingredients arrive at the factory, they are stored in a clean and sanitized environment. At the very beginning of the process, the ingredients are washed. The company invested in heavy machinery to dry the ingredients before they are ground, till they are filtered and ready for packing. Quality is a top priority for Mail, which is certified HACCP, ISO 22000 and ISO 9001. The level of these quality certifications is unique for a spice enterprise in the Indian Ocean. Today, Mail spices are distributed across the country and can be found on the shelves of all supermarkets, hypermarkets and local shops. They are used in a number of vegetarian and non-vegetarian recipes in all households and restaurants. Mail has made its way to the top with a clear objective to provide quality spices to its customers.
That's it for this edition of Business Connect. Hope you've learned a lot from this program. We'll see you next time. Find this program on our website and also on our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. We'll see you next time. Till then, it's goodbye from the whole team of Business Connect.